Hey guys, welcome in. I am going to be doing this little short webinar live stream here. Actually, it's not even live, it's a webinar. It's based on my post. This is not easy. And I said I was going to talk about summer slumps. I said I was going to talk about winter slumps, fall slumps, because some of you guys, a lot of you guys have started your own business already. And some of you so TJ had texted me a couple of weeks ago, said he got his first 100 clients. So he's there. And I said, okay, double that. Some of you are in that early stage where you're just starting, or you're thinking, I'm trying to get 10 clients or 15 clients. Maybe you're trying to get one client, but this is going to be a little like pep talk, and I'm going to share some insights with you. It's very important. This mindset is super important now. TJ has done really well, especially up front. He had a really great start, and it was sort of, it was like rocket fuel. I think he did some things in the very beginning that made it like, wow, he got some clients. Now he's sitting at 100. So, and probably by, who knows how many he's at right now, but the idea is he went from within that first year to get to that 100 mark. And that is a good goal to set. And then from there, we're going to try to double that and double it and double it. It does happen. It is kind of like a snowball. So I want you guys to watch this if you're ready, if you're tuning, if you're thinking, how do I get that first client? How do we get 10 clients? Maybe you had a bunch of clients, all of a sudden you have none. And you're like, what's happening? I've been getting that question about the summer slump, and I started thinking about it. And yeah, summer can slump a little bit. And but there can also be a slump anywhere. Anytime I sit down with a technician and ask them, what's going on, they'll say, oh, I'm really busy, or oh, I'm not, I'll say I'm slammed, and they'll say, what, really? I haven't had any calls lately. So I don't think that there's really a seasonal slump necessarily. Summer does make some sense, that everybody goes on vacation. Anything could happen, economy, political stuff. Christmas time is usually the consistent time of any year that I'm just getting slammed, and it's usually in that mid to late December. Really, any early December or November, people are starting to think about holidays, but a lot of people, like last couple of weeks of December, just start getting all these last minute calls. Not my regular clients. We're talking people who they go, oh yeah, I just need a piano tuning, and I had no idea that we were having this. It wasn't tuned. They don't even know it's not tuned until they look. People get a lot of last minute stuff is going to happen in the last couple weeks of December, heading into all those Christmas cantatas and things like that. People think about it like the week of, and they'll say, hey, can you come tune a piano like tomorrow? So I will have to turn down some work in that era of time and around Christmas, or I'll just work all the time. So, but other than that, I think the slumps, we've noticed at least in Apex and Dayton, there isn't like a huge summer slump. Summer's pretty consistent, but slumps are going to happen. And if you're in a slump, that's okay. I'm going to talk about how to get out of those fall slumps, anytime you dry up. So I said I've had this on my mind for a while, and running business is hard. Before you think about this, if you just type in like how many businesses fail, you'll find that over 50 or around 50% of businesses will fail within the first 5 years. So this is kind of important to get things going. These first couple years can be hard, okay? It can get discouraging, but you are building a skill, and you're building a business that is going to be sort of like a snowman. It's going to snowman itself up, and it's going to get bigger, and the hope is it gets bigger and bigger every year. But you cannot beat the freedom or the feeling you get from running your own business, making your own path. And I'm going to dissect it in this stream right here. And I'm going to share a little bit of a core mindset that's going to help you through it. In fact, this core mindset changed my whole business and changed my whole life, really. And I'll share that with you too, because you can kind of think. I've been in businesses where, like I had a local business where I was teaching lessons, and I was trying to get to 100 students, and I think I finally did get to 100 students, but it took a long time. I started out as an individual private music teacher. I had like 30, then I got to 40, then I had 50, then I opened up a building, and then I tried to hire some teachers, and I was trying to scale, but it was really hard. So I know what it feels like to be sitting at home and thinking like, man, I've got this great thing, but nobody's buying it. And sitting around thinking like, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I try this? I did festivals, I did fairs, and sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. So it's okay to have a feeling of like overwhelm, of going like, what what's happening in my business, or I've got this great thing and nobody wants it. But I want you guys to get above that and over that. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. So first of all, get your first tuning and get paid. And if you're very, very early in this and you haven't had any paid tunings, my advice is you have to do it. Once you've got your certification or even close to getting it and you think I'm ready, I can do this, tune a piano. My first piano tuning was a church. I just went up to the pastor and I said, "Hey, I'm a piano tuner. Do you need your piano tuned?" I'd visited the church. It was like my uncle's church or something. And the guy said, "Oh yeah, we have a piano. We need it tuned. Can you do it this week?" That was my first paid tuning. I just randomly went up to the guy and said, "Do you need a piano tuning?" And so I was like, okay, I got my first tuning. You have to do this. This is super important. Some of you will sit there forever and think, well, I'm almost ready. I'm getting ready. At some point, you're going to have to get your first tuning and get paid. And get paid full price. It's okay if you want to start with a slow price like let's say $100 or $125 if that's a little low. It's okay that you don't go in like premium price first day out. I'm going to do this premium price. That's okay, but you want to think about, can I do this and can I do it? Oh, I closed my thing there. Can I do this and can I do it for a good price, a basic price like $100? Fine. Just get paid. Don't get paid like $30. Or try not to get paid some low, like crazy amount. Try to get like an actual tuning price around what they're getting in your town. And then let's talk about just getting started, getting the very beginning going. Network. Who do you know? When I started this, I knew a lot of people. I went to university and music school in the town that I was living. I grew up there. I was a guitar teacher in a few of these stores, and a few of these big stores had a lot of people. So when I became a piano tuner, I already had friends. I was already friendly with the music store owners, and they already kind of knew me. So I was like, "Hey, I tune pianos." Like, "Oh, wow, that's great. Maybe you can tune some of our pianos." And it just sort of who you know. If you don't know anybody, then you have to get to know people. Pop your head in, take a business card in, drop it off. One of the biggest accounts I have still running in the Dayton area, it took me about 3 years. Now, I was running my business. I was trying to land this really big music store, and they had a lot of tuners, a lot of competition, and they're kind of a big name in that area. Everybody knows them. And so I wanted to get involved with them, but it took me 2 or 3 years. I just dropped my card off. I was young. I don't think they were taking me very seriously. The owner was really old and he kept forgetting my name. He was like 85 or 90. But at some point, he remembered my name and asked me to tune a piano. They got in a bind and I got in. And from that point on, we worked that relationship. Years later, we became their exclusive tuners. Okay, so the guys that are tuning for them only. And so I got my light coming in and out here. There it goes. So that took a little while. But some of the other people, it was like they knew me and they liked me. And as soon as they knew I tuned, they said, let's tune some pianos. So you got to start with who you know, and you have to get to know people. Get to know anybody. I mean, I can't tell you what's going to happen, but you have to get to know the music directors at the churches. Look for like the best piano teachers in town. Look who's teaching pianos in town. Look for those people. Look for who owns the guitar shop, and do people call them for piano tunings? Drop off a card. And you're going to have to be consistent. If you only go in one time, drop off a card and leave, you're probably going to get nothing. It would be a miracle if you did that. It's consistency. Think about those people you know and you believe in and you use. It's consistency. They get to know you. Be friendly. Talk to them. Bring them some candy. Do whatever. Bring them a little promotional thing from, so-and-so piano company, and drop off some chocolates. We do those kind of things for the front staff at some of the big music stores. I mean, just be out there. Just be friendly. Just be nice, be friendly, be interested, and be visible, and network with who you know. If you know a few people, then ask those people to share a couple other people that might help you. So you have to get to know people. You have to also build and launch multiple websites. So one main website, if you've done Catalyst, if you've done some of the boot camp, you're going to know that it's Google ads, Facebook ads, all these things are working together, but you want to be visible online too. Don't just rely on that alone in the beginning. It can be very expensive to just rely just on Google ads in the beginning, but you can set up a small Google ad, you can set up a small Facebook ad, set up a page, post some stuff, post everything, you're going to have to start just posting and building a website and getting out there. So when they go, oh, so-and-so piano company, I heard they're pretty good. They actually see you and go, oh yeah, they do have a web. Wow, look at this website. You want to be, clean, friendly, have a good website, and look legitimate. Don't look like you're like the $35 tuner. Put your prices up there. I teach a lot of this in Catalyst, but so we do that. You're going to run your ads. And when you are not tuning, here's what I think some of you guys are texting me and saying, like, hey, I'm on a slow time. What's up? Well, what are you doing right now? Texting me is great. That's a good idea. Text me and say, hey, man, I don't know what to do. Or, hey, what should I do? And that's good. But you should be, when you're not tuning, if this is really your thing, you should be working on networking. Even if every day you go out to a different music store, network, send out cards, because every time you land another tuning, that's another $100, $200, $300 in your pocket. Okay, and we're going to talk about the money of this as we get further into this little talk, because every single tuning matters. In the very beginning, like that first tuning that I did was like huge. It was like the first $95 that I made tuning. And I was like, that was huge, because it was like somebody paid me and I tuned the piano. So I'm building up my confidence. I'm building up my paycheck just by saying, hey, I can tune this piano for you. So every tuning matters. And this is like starting a snowman. Now, I lived in Ohio most of my life. It's cold up there, a lot of snow. But when you go out to make a snowman, that first like ball, it has to be like right. It has to be packed down. And then you're like down there rolling it in the snow. Okay. And so you roll it in the snow and it gets a little bigger. That first part is hard. So, and then you get that going, you get it going, you start rolling. Now, every time you roll it, the snowball gets bigger and it becomes like the base of the snowman. You like heave it over and it gets big. Maybe it's like 2-3 foot tall now. It's like this big, huge thing. Every time you roll it, or imagine if you rolled it down a hill, it would just accumulate a bunch of snow. That's what you are right now. You're a little tiny baby snowball, and maybe you're even falling apart. You got to get that first pack, and you got to get that first roll, and you flip it over and roll it, and it starts to get bigger. Talking about TJ, I don't want to bring him up too much, make him feel all super special in the podcast. But like, he started out kind of small, and he got his snowball packed up kind of quick and got a couple big jobs, but he stuck himself out there. He went out there and he did some jobs that probably were a little above where he was, but he stretched himself and learned, and he rose to the occasion. So he got that pack real quick, and you got rolling, and then, he got up to his first 100 clients well within his first year of tuning. So that will work only if you pack it up tight at the beginning and just get going and get rolling and don't stop. Another thing is you can share your success, publish your success, and be your own cheerleader. Nobody's going to care about you. Nobody cares about you or your business. Nobody probably even knows about you or your business. In the beginning, you have to. If you tune a few pianos, you get a review. Put it up on Facebook. Ask for reviews. Put them up there. Tell people, hey, I tuned for so-and-so school. In this business, it's important that you use your certification. Hey, I'm a certified piano technician. Oh, and I tuned for so-and-so School of the Arts. In the beginning, I was strategically placing my company in the highest, artsiest places I could. If we could land a client, like Stivers School of the Arts is one that we have, and it's a big private school, and they're all arts. And so we tell them we tune there, and they think, oh, wow, you must be important. You must be, really, uppity. It's not that I'm that uppity. It's that, I'm tuning in this place, and they're known for good musicianship. And I'm not trying to be all uppity, but you have to build that in. So if you can get a little job at a university, like a couple pianos, even one time, then you can say, hey, I tuned for this university. And they go, oh, really? Okay. People have to know you, like you, and trust you. And I'll put that in here. They have to know you, they have to like you, and trust you. That is part of being successful early on. So you have to build that. And then you fill the pipeline and don't get comfy. That's one thing I think can bring a slump on. Maybe you're working really hard. And something I've learned about business is you can work really hard and then you get business and you're like, oh, wow. And so you get a little money and you're like, oh, that's great. I'm going to go drink some coffee. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to read some books, watch some movies. And then the next week or month comes along. You're like, hey, I don't have any business. Like, uh-oh. So your pipeline is kind of important. And that's why I think owning your own business feels a little exhausting and hard is that you can't really just get super comfy. Once you have some things in place that are working, once you're established, yes, you're going to have some comfortable vibes going on, but it's not the beginning. You're going to have to really work hard. So if you get successful, some of you guys, you pay for the course, you're buying tools, you maybe you have debts here, you're changing careers. I mean, in the beginning, it's tough, and you're kind of just surviving, and you're kind of just, no matter what you're doing, in any beginning, it's going to be fighting. So don't get comfortable. Don't think, oh, I've made $1,000 this month. That's good enough for me. No, think next month I want to make $2,000. Next month, $3,000. Set some goals. Do some things like that. Set goals. Okay. And then when you get a job, use upselling. Offer the right services at the right price. Make sure you're making enough money. If you get 5 tunings in a week and you're only charging $75, you're probably going to be a little bit broke still. But if you're charging $150 and you get those same 5 tunings, you probably have some breathing room financially. So think about what you charge. Sometimes I'm sitting in somebody's house and I'm thinking, because I'm a pretty easy charge. Like, I give people discounts and deals and stuff, and I have a lot of clients now, so I can do that. I feel like it's like I'm not like, I'm like needing every penny, so I just feel like, yeah, I'll just do this for that much or whatever. But then sometimes I'm thinking, you know what? You don't have to discount this service. If you charge them an extra $50 like you should because you did this extra work, then that's $50 that you could probably, go to dinner or take your family out to a concert. It's prepaid, or I can leave that $50 on the table and think, yeah, I just do some free work. You got to price fair and you got to be fair, but don't be afraid to actually write the invoice for what you've done. Just don't give away too much work. In the beginning, don't give away any work. Try to get paid for everything, even if it's a little bit. Try to make habits of that getting paid. Once you're doing a ton of work and maybe you've got a big day and you're making a lot of money that day and you get to the last appointment and you're like, oh, I fixed a pedal, and you don't charge for it. I mean, that's okay. I do that sometimes, or if it's a long-term client and I do an extra voicing, I don't charge for it, whatever. That's my choice. That can be your choice. But in typical general, in the beginning, you want to charge for a good price for what you're doing, because every penny is going to matter. That $50 could go towards a Google ad for the next month. So just don't give away money. Don't leave it on the table. Upsell stuff. If they need a cleaning, if they need a voicing, upsell it. $50 here, $100 here, $25 here. They have a repair. Oh, I can repair this pedal. I can fix this clicking thing. That'll be $50. Those little things add up. Upselling really is important in the beginning. Don't stop marketing to your base. Whatever base you have, it's 15 clients, 10 clients, 20 clients, 100 clients. You want to send them postcard reminders, text reminders, phone call reminders. Just before I had like 200 or 300 clients, my first 100, 200, 300, 400 clients, I was calling every single month. If they were due, I was calling them personally. And once I hit I think probably around 500, it was harder to do that. So I started hiring people to help me do it. But in the beginning, I called every single person and I took that very seriously. Don't stop marketing to your base. Give them specials, give them little referral things, call them up, ask them, hey, do you have a church piano? You just want to, that little base that you're building is really, really important. All right, so check this out. This is the 10X mindset. Now, I'll go ahead and say Grant Cardone's 10X Rule is a book. So check out that book. If you just type in Grant Cardone 10X, he actually has a book. It's an Audible book. I like the Audible books because he reads them. I would absolutely 100%. If you guys are dealing with any of this, if you're dealing with any issues in your business right now, anything, any slumps or any thoughts of inadequacy or any thoughts of, am I going to make it, or how am I going to get this done? Just read or listen to, I would say listen to, I like to listen to, the 10X Rule from Grant Cardone, and also his book called Be Obsessed or Be Average. This is what really changed my perspective on business, and it really does help. He's a motivational speaker. He's basically a sales guy, but he's also a motivational speaker. But he's going to teach you how to outwork your competition. He's going to teach you how to think bigger. He's going to teach you how to, maybe you'll notice some of the things I'm saying in my podcast or in my YouTube channel kind of come from Grant Cardone's mindset. And the other The other book I actually Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is another book you could read. That's not going to be as specific as the 10X rule or Be Obsessed or Be Average, but it's a great book, and some of you probably already know it. But that book I read, it talks a lot about just your thought process. It is a battle in your mind. Are you good enough? Are you going to make it? And you can never give up, and you must survive. You've already started. You're already on this path. So somebody asked me, and I think I can't remember, one or two of you have asked me in the last 30 to 60 days, should I get a side job? And I'm glad, because one of you answered your own question. You're like, well, you already did the math, and it got me thinking. And I was like, no, you probably shouldn't get a side job. I mean, the reason, now that you have a piano tuning as a skill, it's very hard to take side jobs. It's very hard to take work for $15 or $20 an hour if you can make $100 an hour. And the reason it's a time scale thing. If you can make $15 an hour for 10 hours a week, so let's say you get a job anywhere. Let's say you go to get a job at the local coffee shop, and you'll work in the morning and you'll make $15 an hour, but they want you to work 10 hours a week. So you can spend that time, and they'll give you $150, and they'll take taxes and all that, and then maybe it'll be less. Maybe it'll be like $130. That is one more tuning a week. That is 1.5 hours. So you can work 10 hours at the coffee shop, or you can get 1 hour of a tuning, and you'll have the same money. So if you double that up, if you worked 20 hours, let's say you're like, I'm going to get a really good part-time job. I'm going to go in there, work 20 hours. I'm going to get $300 a week. That's guaranteed money. That's one upsell cleaning. That's one cleaning upsell. We charge, I think, $275, $350 for a cleaning. So that's one upsell that you could have done in 2 or 3 hours. That's trading 20 hours of working for somebody for something that you could have upsold and done only 3 hours of work. So my issue with getting a side job is not saying that you shouldn't get, like, if you're absolutely broke and like just have no money at all, and like you're gonna like lose your apartment next month, like that's fine. You could work at the coffee shop. That's fine. But you have a skill at this point, or you're cultivating a skill that pays $100 to $200 per hour when it's done right. And the map is there. The Apex Way, the map, the boot camp, it's all there. It shows you how to do it. And people will literally pay you $150, $200 for a single hour of work, or 1.5 hours. If you take your time, maybe you're there an hour and a half. So in this early stage, it's important that you don't get sidetracked and get yourself stuck working at a job, because you've created this new skill that you can actually work for like 2 or 3 hours making $300, okay? Where it would take you over 20 hours to make that same $300 at the coffee shop. Now, the problem I'm finding with this in the mindset is you spend 20 hours making coffee or doing whatever you're doing, and they give you this $300. You've left all of that time is now stuck. You didn't make any new connections. You didn't get any new clients that week. You didn't do anything, and it's fading away. It's fading away. Those opportunities are getting further away from you. Yeah, maybe you made a couple $100, but the opportunity to grow your business is still like maybe an arm's length away. So maybe you don't have a lot of money. Maybe you tighten up. Maybe you drop some expenses, and you really suck it up, and you go to like 10 churches, and you knock on the door, and literally that you only get 2 of them out of 20 to say, yeah, tune our piano. Well, there you've already made $300-$400, maybe $500. So there's just a lot of earning potential in this field. So going and getting a part-time job, it's something I would fight against as much as possible. If you can sit here and go, I'm reading the 10X rule, I'm reading Be Obsessed or Be Average, I'm going to get my stuff together, I'm going to make this happen, I'm going to make a lot of money compared to going and getting a job for $15 an hour. And that is going to hinder the growth of your business or the future of your real earning income. Your skill set now puts you highly above that earning potential of just $15 an hour. So I was thinking this also, that you need to manage your money. So when you're doing good, save money. save money, keep it, hold it. You're in survival mode. You're starting a business, and so you got to be feeling like, I'm in survival mode. I'm going to save this money when it's good. I did an extra job this week. Maybe you sold a regulation. One of you guys on Bolster this last week said you did your first like $1,300 job. Well, that's a lot. That's a big job. So maybe that money right there goes away. Like, I'm going to act like that didn't happen. I'm going to put that away because maybe in a couple weeks I'm going to be tunings get low. I've got that money. You don't want to just go out and blow it and be like, well, I blew it. You're going to have to conserve. Being a business owner, you have to think about cash flow, money. You have to think about, if you don't work, it's not going to come. It's not like you have a job. When you have a job, they come in, they give you a paycheck. Now, it's going to be a lower paycheck, and you're going to be like, what, I worked 20 hours for $300? Like, it might feel kind of like you got ripped off, but they're going to give it to you. If you do it, they're going to give it to you. But as a business owner, you're only going to get paid if you actually go out there and get it and market it and get out there and get it done. So you have to think of this as survival and growth, and don't buy tools until you need them. So every time when I was younger, I was buying tools. I was buying a lot of tools on eBay, and I wasn't buying a lot of tools until I needed them. So if you're going to do like one of you guys doing a stringing job recently, so you're like, okay, you've sold the stringing job to do several strings. Now you're going to go buy the tools, and that job is probably going to pay for those tools. Maybe you don't make any money. Maybe you just flat out, maybe even spend a little more. But the idea would be, like, for example, I needed a piano tilter one time, and it was like $550 for the tilter. So I only needed the tilter because somebody wanted me to restring the whole bass end on their piano, and it was like a $2,000 job. It was an insurance thing, so I ended up charging that extra $500 to the client. So I didn't have the tilter. I wrote up the invoice. I added money on there. I just added it in there. Instead of only charging $1,600 for the bass strings, I charged like $2,600 or something. I just said, this is what it's going to cost. And I knew that in that money, I was going to get my $1,500 for the labor. I was going to get that $500 extra for the tilter, and I was going to get $200 or $300 extra for the strings and the pens and everything else. So I built in all the expenses to that one job. So the tilter was like free. It felt free to me because they paid for it. I got paid a bunch of money to string it. I got a new tilter, and I used that tilter for many years until I just ran out of room, and I think I sold it, actually. I don't like tilting pianos, so I sold the tilter. I probably shouldn't have. Now I borrow one of my friends, but it was taking up room in my garage, and I just tilting pianos is something that when I moved to Nashville, I kind of quit doing unless I absolutely have to. And if I have to, I'll just call a friend and say, hey, can I borrow this tilter? But early on in my career, I was doing a lot of stringing. I was doing a lot of like repairs that I had to tilt, like casters, things like that. And so when that first big job came to me, it was probably my first stringing of a upright, the bass section. I just added $500 to the invoice and said, this is how much it's going to cost to do this job. And I knew that it was built in. You can build that in almost any level. So if you're going to do repinning of an action or something, you're like, I need repinning tools, they're going to cost $200 or $300. Just add that into the invoice somewhere in there. I wouldn't put it like tools, this is what I want, but I would put it in there like, maybe we're going to charge $500 for the thing, or 5 hours. Just add 2 hours to it. Now it's going to be $750, and that gives you room for supplies. Or even put it in parts. You're going to upcharge on parts. You're going to find ways to build these tools into these jobs as you go. That is my absolute rule for that. I hardly ever buy tools. Even if I bought some tools last week to tighten a plate up, I'm going to bill the client. I'm going to bill them an extra $50 because I had to buy tools to do this. They had a special bit on there, so I had to go buy some tools. And I'm going to put that right on the invoice. It's going to be an extra $50 for the job. I'm going to say tightening bolts, stabilizing bolts, and it took me 3 minutes to do it. I'm going to charge them $50, because that's the tools cost. I think like $40. So I hope this helps you guys. This is the end of my outline, and so I'll leave this open for comments. I want you guys to, in the comments on this, on Bolster here, put their comments down there, even on YouTube or whatever. If this is public, put your comments there. It's probably just going to be just for you guys. So put your comments in Bolster. Let me know what you think, what you've been doing, how you've been succeeding, how many clients you have, how have you even started yet? Are you, put that in the comments, because when I hear what you're saying, it helps me go back to when I was in your shoes right there and say, okay, that's how I made it. Because In the very first Apex webinar that I made, I was showing you how I doubled. I went to 100 clients, and I went to 200, then I went to 400, then 800. And you can really do that, but you have to you're going to have to keep doubling. But remember, your first 100 clients are going to want to repeat their tuning within 6 months to a year. So if you really are reminding them and keeping those first 100, your next 100 becomes that double. Then you keep those 200, then you get 400. It sounds hard, but if you're in the 10X mindset, if you're in the be obsessed or be average, if you got that Grant Cardone mindset of just going bigger and bigger and bigger and better and beating out your competition, you got to get serious about all those things, because having your own piano tuning business or any business, it won't just happen and easily just strolling through the park, cashing checks, running through, the sprinkler, just like getting rich. It's not going to happen like that. It's going to be like, hey, I'm working hard. I'm doing this. I'm making this happen, and I'm making plans for the next level. You guys all have it within you, but you just got to cultivate that mindset of success, the mindset of victory, of actually getting it done and knowing that it is on you. Nobody is going to come and build your business for you. Not a single person, not even me. I can't come and make your business happen. Nobody can do that. Nobody can. You're going to have to put those foundational blocks down for your business. And you know what the great thing is? Every time you put a foundational block down, it's like building a big tower. And pretty soon you're going to look back and be like, hey, I've been doing this 4 years. I have like 900 clients, making this much per year. You can make more every single year. You just have to keep repeating and doing what works. And I will tell you, if you're still here at this end thing, one thing I've really been thinking, and it is really true. This is really true. If something is working, I should have probably said this at the very beginning, but this is really a key. If something is working, do it over and over and over and over again. Do not fiddle around with all these other things. If you find out that posting a Facebook ad on many different Facebook local groups is getting you 10 customers a week, then never stop it. Keep doing it. Build on that. Automate it. Do this over and over again. Like for me, I found that Google Ads will consistently get me online bookings. So I focus in on that thing. I think it's important to do a lot of things and find out what's working and then do those things over and over. Like that is really key. So if you have had any success, then I just want you to step back, think about how did I get that? And then literally do it again and do it again and do it again. I think that's where a lot of small businesses really fail, is they just all over the place. They don't have any way to really measure what they did or how they did it or what got them that. But the people who really figure out, this is working. I'm going to do this over and over again. I'm doing this and it's producing this. I'm going to do this, and maybe you make it a little better. Maybe you tweak it a little better. Maybe your ad spend goes down because it gets more optimized. But the idea is that you're not just shotgunning all over the place. Shotgun around a little bit, and then when you find some success, like figure that out and share it with me. So I should have put that at the very beginning, because a lot of you are having some success and then you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? I don't know what I did, or I don't know how to do it again. You've got to hone in on what is working for you, what has worked, and you've got to do that over and over and over again, and creating sort of like a loop of success for your online business. Be sure to leave in the comments some of your stories, successes, some things you've done. And I really appreciate you guys going on Bolster on the community app and talking to us, talking to each other. It's an amazing thing. And I'm ready to hear what you guys have to say about this. So build your business, build it strong, and let me know how it's going.